Good morning and welcome to Get to Know Wuhan, Columbus's Friendship City. This event is produced in partnership between the Columbus Region Logistics Council and the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce. I'm Michael Bowman, Tax Senior Manager with Schneider Downs. I would like to welcome everyone to this afternoon's event. We are a proud supporter of both the Columbus Region Logistics Council and the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and we're glad they have teamed up today. Schneider Downs is a full-service accounting and business advisory firm, serving a diverse range of companies in the public and private sectors, from small, closely held businesses to large, publicly traded companies. Our firm has over 60 years of experience providing accounting, financial reporting, and tax advisory services. If you were to speak to any of our clients, what differentiates our firm is the passion our people have for client service, their responsiveness, and their expertise. Our 80-plus service offerings range from tax, robotic process automation, enterprise risk management, cybersecurity, wealth management, to exit and succession planning, just to name a few. Within our firm, the Schneider Downs Transportation and Logistics Advisory Group serves a wide range of transportation and logistics clients, from local carriers to national enterprises, including those in the trucking, hauling, freight brokerage, and warehousing space. The SD Global team assists domestic clients in various industries that want to do business offshore, as well as foreign investors expanding into the US market. If anyone would like to learn more about our firm or how Schneider Downs can add value to your organization, please contact me or any of our other professionals to discuss your needs. In addition, I encourage you to check out our website at www.schneiderdowns.com and subscribe to our weekly email list for updates on accounting, tax, and cybersecurity. As a longtime partner and supporter of the Columbus Region Logistics Council, we have had the pleasure of participating in many CRLC programs over the years. Now, more than ever before, there is great importance in connecting with one another. We encourage you to consider joining us for the remainder of our CRLC events this year. Now, I would like to hand things off to Cordell Walton. Thank you and enjoy today's event.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Cordell Walton, Program Manager of Sedgwick, formerly known as CareWorks Comp. We are excited to announce that CareWorks Comp TPA is now named Sedgwick TPA as of March 1st, 2021. Sedgwick is a workers' compensation risk solutions provider for employers across the state of Ohio. Sedgwick supports our clients and their employees by simplifying and resolving complex claims issues, offering program solutions to mitigate risks and reduce costs. In other words, we help our employers understand their risks and reduce losses so they can achieve the lowest cost possible. When an injury does occur, we have the experience and expertise to handle even the most complex claims in a straightforward and efficient manner. At Sedgwick, caring counts. Taking care of people is at the heart of everything that we do. Sedgwick is proud to be a long-standing partner and member of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. At Sedgwick, we recognize the value of conversations like the one that will take place today. While we may not be able to connect in person, we are thrilled that we can bring so many industry leaders together virtually to discuss unique and important topics surrounding logistics. Again, thank you for joining us and enjoy today's program. I'd like to now introduce Pat McAloon, the Director of the Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning. I'm Pat McAloon, Executive Director of the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce. The Chinese Chamber is proud to partner with the Columbus Region Logistics Council of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce in producing today's introduction to Wuhan. All successful collaborations in business, academia, and government are based on trusting personal relationships. The strongest such relationships take years to develop, with both sides coming to understand the other's perspectives and needs. As you will hear today, there are many such trusting relationships between people in Central Ohio and Wuhan. These have led to a number of fruitful projects, from scholarly exchange to the establishment of overseas businesses. Relationship networks with multiple points of intersection, such as those found between Wuhan and Columbus, offer opportunities to triangulate information, as well as to expand your network of trusted connections at an increasing rate. Today's speakers are hubs in the Wuhan-Columbus Relationship Network. Through them, you can get to know many other good people in Wuhan and beyond. I hope you take advantage of this and future events to expand your network, as you never know when a connection will be helpful. Next, let's hear from Zaki Bashir, manager of the Columbus Region Logistics Council.
You're muted, Zaki.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, you're here.
But thank you, Pat, and thank you to the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber for partnering with us today. It's important to have these type of partnerships and highlight the friendship and the relationships between cities like Wuhan and the Columbus region and the Columbus Region Logistics Council. I want to say a special thanks to the advisory board and the members of the Columbus Region Logistics Council who make events like this possible and your continued support. Just a couple of updates. The CRLC is working on several meetings this year, several events. So please touch base with me as we continue to work on our initiatives and push our mission forward this year. This month, we have a roundtable conversation with an event similar to this, the importance of vaccine and COVID in the time of COVID-19. So March 25th, please look out for a registration link. That event is in partnership with Columbus State University, OSCAN. But again, we intend to hold several important conversations, events, roundtable discussions throughout this entire year. So I want to start off with our first speaker. We have a great list of panelists for you today. We're going to hear a lot about the relationship between the sister cities and learn things that maybe you did know, maybe you didn't, but we're going to follow this up by some Q&A at the end, of course, a little bit of networking. So I look forward to spending the next hour or so with you all today. So first, I want to introduce Dr. Minru Lee, who is the former president of Wuhan University. He is in the Ohio Alumni Association, Vice Friendship Association, National East Asian Language Resource Center at the Ohio State University. He's going to have a presentation for the next 10 minutes or so, so I hope you all enjoy. And any questions you have, feel free to add those to the chat and making comments at the end of his presentation. Enjoy.
Good afternoon. Let me see. Can you see the screen, please?
Yes, clearly we can see it.
Okay. But I cannot see this notes. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I came to Ohio State, working for my PhD in 1987, I was a teacher at Wuhan University. Today, as one of the bridge builders between the two universities, I would like to introduce you to organizations that help bridge Columbus and Wuhan. Wuhan is the capital of Hubei province, with a population of over 11 million. There are over 80 universities and colleges there, with a total college student population of over 1 million. Wuhan University, one of the top 10 universities in China, is regarded as having the most beautiful campus in the whole country. You can see from the pictures. In 1981, Ohio State and Wuhan University signed an MOU, establishing the first sister university relationship between the USA and China. This year, 2021, marks the 40th anniversary of the friendship. A 5-minute video is being planned to celebrate the long friendship at an Earth Day event on April 22nd. Please keep an eye out for that event. The Wuhan University Ohio Alumni Association was founded in 2003 when a Wuhan University delegation visited OSU. Dr. Qiu Hong at the J.P. Morgan Chase is the current board chair. There are more than 200 people in the WeChat group. This organization assisted President Liu of Wuhan University in meeting with President Gordon Gee on December 2007. In the early stage of the coronavirus, the Wuhan University Ohio Alumni Association initiated a fundraising campaign and donated masks to Wuhan University. I know there's many people in the audience today that donated. I would like to say thank you. In March last year, when COVID-19 was getting worse in Columbus, Wuhan University presented 10,000 masks to Ohio State with a warm letter signed by the president of Wuhan University. The Columbus Dispatch published a front page article about this friendship on May 19, 2020, titled Ohio State's Ties to China Pay Off Amid Pandemic, and saying a gift from more than 7,000 miles away has helped save lives in Ohio. Moreover, Dr. Xiaoyun at Ohio State coordinated and hosted a Zoom meeting between the OSU Medical School and the Wuhan University. On March 24, 2020. In the above collaborations, the OSU China Gateway Office, directed by Ms. Phoebe Yu, contacted OSU about how to receive the mask gift from Wuhan University. In addition, she organized the fundraising campaign among around 10,000 OSU alumni and friends living in mainland China to make donations to Wuhan people. These 1,000 alumni are our useful resources in China. In 2011, Ms. Yu assisted President Gee in visiting Wuhan University. In 2020, she coordinated a Zoom meeting between President Drake and President Dou, opening a new page of the friendship between OSU and Wuhan University. The third organization I would like to introduce is is the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce. I have witnessed its growth and development under the leadership of Dr. Yongqing Lu and now Monica Shaw, and I always enjoyed taking part in the activities organized by them. On September 20th, 2019, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce successfully co-organized the Ohio-Hubei Trade organized the Ohio-Hubei Trade and Economic Cooperation Forum together with Jobs Ohio and the Hubei Department of Commerce. Jobs Ohio plays a leading role in economic development here. I enjoyed working with Justin and Amy and receiving delegations from Hubei, China. Since there's no equivalent office of international affairs in Ohio as Hubei has, Jobs Ohio actually carries out the duties of Office International Affairs. They have a lot of resources in networking with Hubei, China. So this organization, this event successfully conducted shows the efficiency and effectiveness of Jobs Ohio in bridging Ohio and Hubei. In 2008, another organization, Ohio Hubei Friendship Association, was founded and played a very key role in organizing the Council, the Imperial Chan Bells of China. The Ohio Center for Cultural Exchange was founded in 2009. Mr. Michael Lowry, manager of WTOSP Wuhan to Ohio Summer Program, is the president. Mr. Bob Eckhart, manager of Summer Communication English Program, is a vice president. The photo was taken in 2009 when the second WTOSP group from Wuhan University arrived in Columbus. Absolutely, everybody knows that Dr. Lu, Yongqing Lu, is the founder of the Asian Festival, but few know that his birthplace is Wuhan. He has made tremendous contributions to friendship between Columbus and Wuhan. With his strong support, the Asian Festival co-sponsored the cultural event Hubei Peking Opera Night in Columbus on March 2018 and received Wuhan acrobatic troupe to perform at the Asian Festival in May 2019. I highly recommended U.S. Heartland China Association to you. Governor Bob Holden is the chair and the CEO, and Professor Glau Walker at Ohio State is the president. Covering 20 states that stretch from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, USHCA built a broad platform for us to reach out to other states and Wuhan. They already conducted Chinese Student Forum for the Chinese students. The last organization I'd like to introduce you is National East Asian Language Resource Center at Ohio State, with Professor Glau Walker as the director. On September 20 to 21st, this center co-organized a U.S.-China True Cultural Symposium at Ohio State with Chinese partners. Also, the co-published book, 庄子, the bilingual version, with press in Wuhan. Moreover, the MA program, Chinese flagship program, have trained over 100 graduates at the advanced level of Chinese. They wrote the MA thesis in Chinese and defended in Chinese. So now they're working in China, DC, and all other places working on the related fields, China fields. Right now, Miss Joy Smith is organizing Zoom meetings and also forum on April 5th, together with his Chinese professors and the team and American professors team at the Ohio State. And also, he is organizing an Earth Day event on 22nd of April this year. My life and my dream is to build a happy, healthy, and harmonious world for everybody. So if you have some needs or something I can help you to reach this dream, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Sorry for the technical issue. Sorry.
We all understand in this virtual environment, but thank you for the overview. A lot of partnerships that, like I said before, we may or may not have known about. So if you ever want to tap into anything that you saw here, Dr. Lee's information will be in the chat. And of course, we'll have a chance to network and do some Q&A with him here briefly. So thank you again, Dr. Lee. And next, I want to kick it off to Dr. Henry Shang, who's going to talk a little bit about the healthcare cooperation between Wuhan and Columbus. He's a professor of pediatric medicine and epidemiology at Nationwide Children's Hospital. He is OSU WMC president for the Hubei, Ohio Friendship Association. And he's going to talk to us about the cooperation there. Dr. Shang, I'll let you take it from here.
Can you help me now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. It's a great pleasure for me to talk about our exchange program between Nationwide Children's Hospital and the big Children's Hospital and Medical University in China. Given the time limitations here, I will just briefly touch what we have done. How do I? Okay. We created a program called the Global Health China Medical Program. We started in 2006. The mission and goals of this program is to provide an opportunity for Nationwide Children's Hospital resident doctors to go to China to receive a short-term opportunity, 1 to 3 months for residents, and probably 1 week for physicians to really have a exchange program to enhance their knowledge and skills in pediatric care. Our partners in China is Wuhan Children's Hospital. Next, please. We first started in 2006 with first Dr. Shao came to Nationwide Children's Hospital to receive training. And since then, we have trained a total 45 physicians and nurses from teaching hospitals in Wuhan. There are 4 teaching hospitals participate in this program. One is the Tongji Medical University's affiliated teaching hospital called Tongji Hospital. A second one is the Wuhan Union Hospital, also is a teaching hospital of Chongji Medical Universities. And Wuhan #1 hospital is a Chinese traditional medicine hospital. And the fourth one is Wuhan Children's Hospital. All of those 14 physician nurses, after they return to their hospitals, they become leaders, including one president now and vice president of Wuhan Children's Hospital, and department chairs and chief nursing officers of Chongji Hospital. We are so proud of this achievement because those fellows return back to their teaching, to their hospital, and really have a significant impact on their own career, but also on providing high quality care to the residents in Wuhan and around area. Actually, patients came from all across whole China. Next, please. In return, a total of 7 Nationwide Children's Hospital and OSU medical residents went to Wuhan Children's Hospital to receive on-site training over there. We have to appreciate this opportunity because, as you know, the medical system in China and the US are a little bit different, even though China has integrated a lot of Western medicine training and teaching into their into the medical system over there. And I also want to say there are a lot of scientific publications on top medical journals, such as the #1 medical journal around the world, New England Journal of Medicine. Our collaborators who published paper on that journal actually received the training here at Nationwide Children's Hospital. Our president and department chair here of Nationwide Children's Hospital received a good news about that publication and shared that among our 13,000 employees here at Nationwide Children's Hospital. I thought that's a big achievement. Next, please. We also send speakers and professors to China to attend their International Forum for Pediatric Development. Next, please. This is our Vice President, Dr. Kelly Kelleher, speak at one of the international forum in 2019. Next, please. I want briefly touch on the difference in medical training and the medical care in China. In terms of medical training, unlike the medical students who need to spend 4 years of undergraduate training in college before they apply and will be admitted into medical school, in China, students actually were admitted from the high school. For example, I graduated from Chongji Medical University. I actually went to the college, medical college, directly from high schools. We spent 5 years in the medical school instead of spending 4-year undergraduate studies and another 4 years of training here. But in China, in addition to the 5-year training program, now there are a lot of 8 years training. So students need to go to the medical school, spend 5 years for study the basic medical and other basic science. In addition, they need to take another 3 years of training at the medical school. And also, medical care system in China and how people will see doctors are dramatically different from the medical care system here in the United States. Now, probably people need to make appointments in China in order to see a doctor at the big hospitals. But however, generally speaking, people do not need to make an appointment. They just come to the hospitals and got a registration number, and they will see doctors there. Another thing is the medical, the insurance and payment system are different. I think this is another great opportunities for U.S. companies, particularly those who are doing like insurance business and other medical related. I think in the future, China will open the door to private equity companies and other people who do not only the medical insurance business, but also life insurance and other things over there. Next, please. This is the Wuhan Children's Hospital, founded in 1954, one of the 10 best children's hospitals in China. I'm also very proud to say, because of the long-term relationship between Nationwide Children's Hospital and the Wuhan Children's Hospital, their reputation and also their scientific capacities have increased dramatically in the past 10 years. Next, please. This is the international collaborations at Wuhan Children's Hospital. You can see we are listed as #1 partners, but they also have other partners in England, Canada, Australia, Germany, and Japan. Next, please. This is one of the doctors who received training here at Nationwide Children's Hospital around 2007 or 2008. You can see they take this opportunity very serious, and they worked very hard to study and trying to learn American culture because they really want to become a leader in their field. Next, please. So they actually, become a team member here, and they participate in every aspect of the care and QI meetings and of scientific meetings. Next, please. Not only that, they established relationship with doctors here. Many of them are still communicating with their mentors and the colleagues. Next, please. In terms of medical and business potentials here, I saw big potentials, but also underdeveloped here. I just want to touch base on several things. Global Patient Services, Nationwide Children's Hospital started this probably in 2019, but focus on area in Middle East and other area. But I can say there are big potentials to recruit patients from China, because China become like a more advanced, and the people get richer and people have resource. Another things started at LSU earlier than the Global Patient Service at Nationwide Children's Hospital. That's a destination medicine global healthcare, particularly given the Zoom meeting and the remote meetings. I think there are huge opportunities over there. In terms of global business by Ohio companies, I can say there are big potentials, but I want to say it's underdeveloped. For example, Cardinal Health has some units in China, but also other companies. I will say that the milk, the nutritional powder business could be big things for people to do business in China. Of course, we have to form the partnership between among several big players in this case. With that, I want to stop here, and I welcome the further discussion among of our big players here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shang. He began business opportunities in the business relationship, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper with our next two panelists. We have Mr. Dennis Wang, who's the president of Dennis Tech, a Wuhan native, and graduated from Tsinghua University. So I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for giving me the chance to talk about the business opportunities between Wuhan and Columbus. I was born in Wuhan, and this is my family. My sons were born here in Columbus. I got married here in Columbus. I'm proud to raise my family here in Columbus. I have stayed in Columbus already longer than in Wuhan. Columbus is truly my second hometown. I love it. So very few businessmen has connections with both Wuhan and Columbus deeper than mine. If by any chance you ever want to do business do any business in Wuhan, or just need some traveling guidance and ideas there, please don't forget to drop me an email. My email is at the bottom, dennis.wang@dennistech.com. Almost 15 years ago, I established the Dennis Tech LLC in town. The main business is about IT consulting services and software development. It got the honor to service some of the household names in town. For example, Chase, Nationwide, Mogul Hill, Education, and Abercrombie and Fitch. Initially, when I was given the topic, working with Wuhan, I thought, are you kidding me? This is a tough topic because very few people ever heard of Wuhan before. Now it's globally famous for the start of the COVID pandemic. There are many challenges on top of that, but no matter what are the challenges, if you are here attending this seminar, I assume more or less you will agree with President Biden on that. I will work for China when it benefits the American people. Where is Wuhan? Some other speaker already talked about Wuhan, so we don't want to get further detail into it. And it's right in center of China, and for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, Wuhan has been strategically important as the center part. And did you know that normally my first of choice traveling around to other bigger metropolitans in China, go to Beijing, go to Shanghai, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangdong, is through the high-speed trains. This is totally different from the US. I can easily start out from Wuhan in the morning and have a business dinner the same day with my friends there. Wuhan also has a gigantic international airport as well. It will save you a couple of hours by air if no delay or cancellation. The high-speed train is just unbelievable reliable. Population-wise, Wuhan is about the size of Ohio, or a little bit more than the combination of Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. It's always the top 10 metropolitan in China. For its industry, Dongfeng is China's version of GM. Its headquarters is in Wuhan. In the past 20 years, Wuhan experienced exactly the same pain as the domestic Rust Belt type manufacturing hub far away from any seashore. But many thanks to the top universities in Wuhan, now it gradually transforms into an international hub of education, high tech, and healthcare. This picture is very straightforward. 50%, almost 50% of the GDP is contributed by car making. And the other remaining part, the biggest one, is the tech section. The high tech section is catch up really quickly. And there are also engineering, chemicals, and healthcare. A natural combination of high-tech and automobile industry is the cutting-edge technologies of self-driving vehicles, just like a Tesla. There are already 42 self-driving robotaxis running in Wuhan, made in Wuhan, purely electronic vehicles. If you look closer to the top of the roof of the vehicles, you can see the sensors, the laser sensors and the camera sensors. It's pretty cool. At this point, the collection are not as strong as we desired. There are a handful of regional companies with human connections, with Wuhan connections, Cardinal Health for its sales center and distribution center. And most of them are manufacturing companies. Budweiser, of course, the beer company is popular in both cities. And I'm not sure whether anybody watched the Netflix documentary movie, American Factory. It's a really good one. It talks about the visions, futures, and realities. It talks about the cultural difference. If anybody ever tried to do business in Wuhan, in China, I highly recommend this one. Fuyao Glass is the factory they are talking about. I think it invested almost $1 billion in Dayton and hired more than 1,000 workers there. This is an example how Danish Tech taps into the high-tech workforce at Wuhan and helps the local business. John Paul is in the audience now. He's from AMG. Please stop by, say hello to him during the later chatting sessions. And Morgan Group is a typical case with budget not big enough for the ambitions. They got big opportunities from Amazon. Then they decide to outsource to Danish Tech's Wuhan team. We set up very flexible payment terms because it's a startup company and give them totally wire-free, no risks software development services to them. As a result, we created the foundation from which they were able to launch 2 more high-growth startup brands. And this picture is about the high-tech center in Wuhan. This is another testimony from another kind, from another healthcare client. I don't have time to get into the details here. And by the way, another story related to Wuhan. Last March, I messaged all my business existing and previous clients, giving them a heads up. Watch out for the pandemic and wear your face mask. First time ever, I spanned hundreds of people. One guy even yelled at me, why did you act out of the line, different from the government's official recommendation from the CDC or from the President Trump? At that point, face mask was strongly discouraged. I just simply told him, I might be wrong sometimes. I'm not a healthcare professional, but I heard the horrible stories that were happening in Wuhan. I feel obliged to tell my clients what I knew and get prepared. I believe I may lost some of my clients permanently. Initially, my wife was very worried, but gradually I got overwhelming positive feedback and encouragement. One CIO even forwarded my recommendations to hundreds of his employees. That's just an example how global awareness will help the local community and how I trade my clients. Next, we're going to talk about the futures. History predicts the future. This is how Wuhan looks like 42 years ago, and this is now. There are more than 40 high-speed trains parked only one night at the railway stations. This is another example how Wuhan is embracing the future. This lily-shaped, very futuristic building is China's most energy-efficient green building. Sometimes I feel really amazed when I pay visit to Wuhan. Something really big that is happening right now at the other end of the globe. I visited Wuhan almost every single year before the pandemic. And every time I got shocked how quickly and dramatically the city improved. The skyscrapers, the high-rise buildings, the more and more bigger bridges, the humongous airport, the unbelievable high-speed trains, and the big fancy shopping malls, more and more opportunities. It's just amazing. At this point, I don't see the connection that big yet, but I believe, it's my strong belief, the future and the changes, the opportunities are there. It's for the visionaries to grab the opportunities. Last but not the least, I think it's very challenging to feed a population of 1.4 billion people. I'm very proud that Ohio's soybeans and agricultural products are helping to resolve the challenges. And there are also many emerging opportunities, not only from Wuhan, but from China, because there are more and more highly educated tech force in China, and the government is trying to encourage more foreign investment and more open. Of course, the green economy as well. The upper middle class is really thriving there. And due to the one family, one child policy, the population there is dramatically, very quickly growing older. And they will lead the healthcare services from US. This is a list of reference. Drop me an email if you want to see the list. Everybody may already know a little bit about Wuhan from the media or online or Wikipedia before the session. As a Wuhan native, I wish I did tell you more comprehensive perspective of the city and some first-hand personal experience. Hopefully, this session will be helpful. I think that's it. Perfect timing. 10 minutes. Thank you. 谢谢.
Thank you, Dennis. And before we move on to our networking and a little bit of Q&A, we'll finish up with Brian Schreiber, who's air cargo and several other hats he wears for the airport authority, including a member of the advisory board for the Columbus Region Logistics Council. So Dennis, Brian, I'll let you take it away and talk about the shipping goods between Columbus and Wuhan.
Thank you, Zaki. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Well, thank you and good afternoon. I'm very honored to be here. As Zaki noted, I have a lot of touch points with the whole webinar this afternoon. I am on the advisory board of the Columbus Region Logistics Council. The organization that I work for, which is the Columbus Regional Airport Authority, we're founding members of the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Back when you guys founded the organization a few years ago, and I have actually been to the gateway office for China in Shanghai, and I had planned to travel to Wuhan this past year after the Ohio-Hubei Friendship Celebration and some contacts that we made through that program. My planning was, because of some very good business and cultural intersections, to travel to Wuhan in the spring or summer of last year. And unfortunately, we know what happened in the interim, but I am very much looking forward to getting there as soon as possible. So with that, I will give a short presentation. There's a lot of words on my presentation, but I'm going to skip through slides. And if you have any questions about myself or the organization or contacts for logistics, you can get a hold of myself. And I can get you in touch with whoever you would need to get in touch with. So with that, so this is the organization I work for, which I've already kind of covered. So I'm going to skip through that pretty quickly. We are a government entity founded under the rules, the regulations of the state of Ohio, and we have a board of directors that are business people. As I mentioned in the bottom, we're founding members of the Greater Columbus Chinese Chamber of Commerce. We operate 4 different entities. You don't have to try and read all of this. Suffice to say, 3 different airports in central Ohio, plus a very important logistics component, which is the foreign trade zone that serves a very big part of Ohio. is administered by my colleague, Angela Atwood, who is on this call. And I can get you her contact information if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the foreign trade. Just very quickly, in global transportation, cargo and passenger trends over the 2020 year, you can see the passenger traffic went way down, and it's still about the same level that it's at right now. So in Columbus, Ohio, we're only about 35% of what the normal traffic would be for passenger. But you can see that cargo has rebounded, and even into this year has probably crossed into the positive territory. So a lot of cargo is still flowing, but not many passengers flowing yet until we have vaccines. And this kind of speaks to some of that. You don't have to read all of the points within this, but suffice to say, in the bold, which is really concerns relations between Wuhan and Columbus, the return of the international passenger routes will not only be dependent on vaccines, but in our country-to-country cooperation to make sure that entry, quarantine, and maybe vaccination rules are all harmonized so that people can travel freely again. And so that the freight can move again, once again, in those passenger aircraft. One note on direct service that we often get asked between mainland China and Columbus. The Columbus, Ohio area does not have enough daily passengers to fill up one of those gigantic airplanes that you probably have all flown in if you've gone to Wuhan. But we have very good connectivity through global hubs, and it's a very easy trip to get to China. I've been to China 3 or 4 times now. Haven't got to Wuhan yet, but it's always a very easy commute to get there, relatively speaking. A little bit about air cargo, which is the realm that I work in. It's less than 1% of global trade, but 35 or more percent by value. Another important point is 50% of the global air cargo capacity resides within the bellies underneath the seats of those passenger planes. So when those big global routes were closed, when the pandemic started, it automatically stopped 50% of the capacity of global air cargo flows. So the airlines have done some interesting things to help avert that. And in this illustration, you will see what they've done. So these are Boeing 777-300 extended range wide body passenger planes that they have now converted to carry freight. On the left side, you can see an aircraft with seats, with boxes in the seats and boxes in the overhead compartments. And then after we unload it, you can see what it looks like, a normal passenger airplane again. And on the right side, these carriers have even been taking seats out of the passenger airplanes. And you can see how the freight is then netted and strapped, it's stacked and netted and secured to the floor. After we unload them, you can see what what used to be used for passenger is now used for freight. And the reason that the airlines have been doing this is because of that note that I made, that 50% of global air freight capacity is within the bellies, within the cargo holds of passenger planes. And most of those big international routes are still very much restricted. So that's some things that we've been kind of doing at Rickenbacker. These are pictures from planes that have come to Rickenbacker. We did have a few Wuhan flights through 20. I'm happy to say we had a few Wuhan flights, and I believe that could have been automotive supplies that came in the fall of last year. So we do have a little bit of air connectivity with Wuhan from Columbus in the Rickenbacker airport that I work at, and we expect to have more in the future. So a little bit about what's going on in the globe that's affecting freight. The supply chain is still in a state of disruption. Factory production overseas is still catching up with the backlog from the pandemic, and consumers in the United States are still spending money on products coming in from overseas. So the picture up on the right-hand corner top are all the ocean container ships that are parked outside Los Angeles and Long Beach port, waiting for a spot to unload their cargo, and they're sitting out there an average of 8 days after they've already taken 3 weeks to cross the ocean. So there's a very big ocean backlog going on right now that is causing more companies to convert to air. And then finally, a little bit about shipping goods between Wuhan and Columbus. if you order something via Alibaba or the like, you can receive up to $800 a day in goods without having to pay customs duties, which are like taxes. So that's very nice. You have those as well in China going back the other way. You have to pay tax on goods that you would ship from here to China. So in the US now, you as a person that is ordering from overseas can receive $800 without those fees. However, the customs does watch to make sure that you're not trying to skirt the system and send a whole bunch of $800 shipments in one day. That doesn't count. For commercial shipping, I would encourage you to use a broker or forwarder. We have many forwarders and brokers in town that are very strong in China, and I can make recommendations if you ever had a need for the commercial services for goods going back and forth between here and Wuhan and the greater China area. One thing I always say, particularly now, is you have to plan well in advance for transportation because of those ocean and air freight capacity crunches. And then one other thing that I wanted to note is our foreign trade zone could be a benefit to your company if you're a high volume importer or if you import items for re-export into the United States. So we can get you in touch with Angie Atwood on that. As far as direct air cargo service between Rickenbacker Airport in Columbus and the Wuhan Airport, we have a company called Apex Logistics. They're a Chinese e-commerce and air cargo company, and they intended to start regular service between Wuhan and Columbus in 2020. The COVID has put that on hold. I talked to their chief commercial officer for the United States, or chief operating officer for the United States last week, and he said that their plan is still there. It is just that the timing has been delayed. So hopefully we will see direct air cargo service between Columbus and Wuhan in the future. And with that, I fear I may have run a minute over. Contact information is here, and you can always get a hold of us for any logistics needs. And I very much appreciate being able to talk to you this afternoon and look forward to the Zoom meeting interaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you to all of our panelists here today, all of the attendees. Brian's presentation, along with the rest, were very informative, so I look forward to this Q&A section here in a minute. So there's going to be a Zoom link dropped in the chat box here. So if you are available for the next 20 to 30 minutes, we're going to do some Q&A, followed by a little bit of networking, so an opportunity to meet some of the other attendees who are obviously interested in getting to know Wuhan along with yourself. So please join us in the Zoom room. That is being dropped here in the chat, so I hope this is the smallest inconvenience of your day. So follow us over to our Zoom meeting room, and we'll have a chance to interact and network. So I look forward to seeing you all over there here in a bit.